Hey guys, it's Ryan, forging a path to financial freedom for the self-employed. So this episode's going to be a little different than others I've done in a couple of specific ways. First, typically, I have a well-written and rehearsed script that's read from a teleprompter in an effort to look professional and whatnot. This is not that, although in full transparency, I am reading this from a teleprompter because I tried to do it off the cuff and it sounded stupid. Second, this episode isn't going to be specifically about personal finance, which makes it different from the rest of the shows on this channel. That said, it is a discussion with a financial planner about how to take the lessons we learn and act on them. The reason I felt like this was an important conversation to have here on the channel versus keeping it to myself is that if you, like me, come to this channel or others like it for information about personal finance, but you find yourself unable to connect the dots and transform discussion into action, then I think this analysis will be of value to you. So let's get into it already. Today I've invited to the show financial planner and so-called wealth architect Roghaar Scheinbein. Roghaar has specific insights related to the problem that so many experience in putting into action the lessons we learn. He's built a comprehensive program designed to help bring into focus the financial future of those who participate, which you can learn more about at futurefundme.com. In his experience with hundreds of program graduates, he's observed and helped his students overcome the very issue we're exploring in this video. Now, it's approximately a 30-minute discussion, so in the interest of time, we're going to break it into a two-part series. So please join me for part one of our discussion about converting what we learn into action. Here we go. Roghaar, thanks so much for coming on the show. I'm really excited to have you here. So let's get right into it, shall we? We hear great financial advice all the time, but there is seemingly an emotional disconnect between hearing and doing. You can tell me to invest in a mutual fund, but I'll have trouble doing that on my own if I've never done it. So what I want to learn and explore is how to defeat this invisible veil that keeps us from action. In your case, for example, I'd like to learn the steps that you would use to develop confidence to begin investing if you'd never done it before. Think of someone who's enrolled in your course. Now, I've done dozens of that type of thing, but I'm not rich yet. So if I took your course, or any course for that matter, what's the thing that's keeping me from acting on the information?
Yeah, so I think the first time we taught Future Fund, so when I say we, I have, there's someone, Julie Stoyan, who created, she is my partner on that course, and she has a large following, she has another business. And so we put this under that umbrella because it really spoke to a lot of online entrepreneurs who follow her and are in her community and all that kind of stuff. We taught the course originally live, and we've had now well over 200 students go through it. We've only pushed it out really one time, and we did that live, and now all those recordings are available. But in doing that, we were able to kind of hear the live feedback and kind of continue every week customizing things based on what we were hearing and what people were telling us, right? Both in the Q&A, and we had, for a 6 to 8 week period, we had a Facebook group where they could ask live questions, right? And so this question tended to come up either during that period or post facto afterwards, people reaching out. And it's that exactly how you think about the first time you sent a wire from your bank account, right? If you ever bought a house that you're sending hundreds of thousands of dollars and you're like, oh my God, I hope it gets there. I hope I didn't put a digit wrong. And so with the trading, the same with crypto, when you move things around, people have this natural fear, right? So some people just jump in and do things, and then other people need a little bit more hand-holding. It's probably the right word. So I think that the two things that I would say to that is, number one is I saw this when I taught 200 plus students. And that's why I created what I call Beyond Future Fund. I don't go around promoting it. Someone comes to me and they really are going to need more one-on-one type of stuff. I want them to have the course. So Beyond Future Fund is designed, if you go through the course and now you're stuck with this, I need hand-holding, or I have very specific questions or things like that, it gets you 6 weeks of one-on-one with me. And if you've never taken the course, I want you to have the course. So it's a slight, it's basically a little bit higher of a price, but I basically am I give you access to the course for that price. So the increase is really just you're paying for the course. And there, I'll do screen shares and I'll be okay, click this button. Okay, click this button, click this button. And so part of me was okay, can I put that inside of a general course as opposed to doing it one-on-one? And I found that even when I do it broadly, because I've done this with crypto, where I was trying to teach people stablecoin, which is you're not actually investing in Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana, but you're just in these coins that don't move, but you're using it to generate yield. You're parking it somewhere. Even when I did the screen share, the people who were stuck, they still needed me to actually actually do it with them on their account. It wasn't, even if I showed them literally inside of my account, click this button, click, they needed it inside their account, right? So that's category one. They're just going to need the hand holding. And like, I offer that, but I don't go around promoting it as the number one thing. Cause like, it's not it's expensive, and B, it's also not the most leverageable thing out there.
Sure. Yeah. It's not super scalable, for you in terms of your time and everything like that. Also, probably out of the price range for a lot of folks, especially if all they could afford was the course, right? This was going to be their magic bullet to success. Now I have to come up with a bunch of money that I don't have yet, right? Because I was trying to learn it from this course. So.
Ideally, right. I mean, like, ideally they have more than the amount for the course anyway, but your point is well taken, right? Like, the course is $700 and the with, the additional is like $2,500 on top of that for 6 weeks of one-on-one. And it's not just like, you get Zoom calls, you get all this stuff, but yes, it's going to be like 3 times the amount on top of that, right? You need to pay both. Like if you didn't buy the course, it's going to be $3,200 and you're going to get both. The other thing that I found is the other way to do it is that you kind of take a deep breath and you resign yourself to the fact that you may lose $100 to $1,000, and you just do it. And it's kind of like anything else, right? Like the first time, like if you're a graphic designer, right? And the first time you did it, you weren't really sure, you sold the project or you went into the job and you thought maybe you were going to get it wrong. Like, what was the worst thing that was going to happen, right? Like you're screwed up and someone yells at you, or if you kind of send out an invoice and they don't pay. Like, again, like think about worst case scenario. That's how I tell people to think about it. What is the absolute worst thing that can happen? So if you go to schwab.com, you click open account and you follow the simple steps and you connect a bank account, you fund $1,000 in there and you try and place a trade. And the trade is for 1 share of, Roblox, and Roblox is $50 a share. And you do something terribly wrong and Roblox goes out of business and you lose $50. Like, what the lesson you'll learn there is going to be way more valuable than the $50 that you lost. So you either are going to want someone to kind of handhold you, you're either going to just leap and do it yourself, or you can get pushed a little bit to do it yourself and like go in with the mindset of like, absolute worst case scenario, you lost $100. And those people, I think those people are kind of okay with either like watching a YouTube video maybe, or kind of asking somebody enough questions that they finally have to jump off the cliff. Because the truth of the matter is like doing it either with someone or yourself, whether it's yourself and just hope and pray, or yourself with a YouTube video or something, you're just going to gain so much more than if you just kind of watch a course. Unless you're comfortable like watching a course and be like, okay, now I'm just going to do it. Like then you fit into one of these categories anyway, right? Like you're going to either just jump off the cliff yourself, or you're going to be like, hey, what's the worst that can happen? Like I remember the first time I sent Bitcoin in like 2017. I'm like, I don't even know. There's so many digits in this wallet. I think I'm going to screw it up. So what I did is I actually didn't send the whole thing. I only sent a portion of it. And I was trying to get onto this platform called Binance. And back then Binance was like, now there's Binance US, all these things, but there was only one Binance back then. And sure enough, I screwed the whole thing up. I sent it to the wrong place. I lost like a couple $100 because on Binance, they tell you like, do you want to send it on this network, or this network? And when you click on each one, it tells you the fees. I was like, why on earth would I send it on that one? That's 4 times the price of that one. I'm totally going to use this other one. The way I was sending, or the token I was using, doesn't work on that other network, and boom, lost, gone forever, right?
Yeah, no, it's funny that you say that. I just did that. I mean, I've been dabbling in crypto for 2 or 3 years at this point, but even semi-recently did something very similar, moving money back from an ancient Kraken account over to something more familiar here in the States, like a Coinbase. And, and it was just that, right? I mean, I can't remember. I want to say it was like XRP or something like that, right? Which is still a little bit tricky to use here in the States. Like, there's some platforms.
Yeah, a lot of platforms don't take it.
Yeah. And so I tried to move it and I did exactly what you described. I chose the wrong network, and basically that coin is not anything on that network, right? It just doesn't work. So you've sent that money into a pit and it's just gone. And so luckily I didn't have a lot. Basically I had a very small holding, $50 or something in XRP, and I was just trying to get out of it, right? Just move it into something that I am trading on. So, I mean, it wasn't much. So thank God I didn't lose a lot, but it would have been that easy to make a mistake like that. And, even some of these companies like the Coinbases of the world have some kind of support and they will try to help. But I mean, if you send that money to another wallet and it goes right through, then it's gone, baby. Like that's
Yeah,
it.
I mean, even if it doesn't get to another wallet, like with the Binance, I reached out to support right away, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you sent it on this network." I'm like, "Yeah, but it didn't get there," and they're like, "Yeah, because that coin's not supported on that network. It's gone." And I'm like, "What do you mean it's gone?" They're like, "Yep, gone. Goodbye." And
Yeah,
I'm like,
no, it's the worst. But well, and I mean, I understand that can be the trepidation, maybe not to such an extreme when you're just moving money between accounts. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation so far. I know I have, but just wait for the mic drop moment that will come in part 2. Thanks so much for watching. Go nuts on the like button if you haven't already, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified every time I drop a new show. If you like this content or anything else you found on the channel, please consider sharing it and spreading the good word. Get $10 in free Bitcoin for buying $100 or more in crypto at Coinbase using the link below, and join me here every Tuesday and Friday for more. Be sure you're engaging in the comments to get the most out of our self-employed community, and we'll see you guys next time.